Hopefully the lighting is good enough. This is one of those tools for taking apart your front end kit. So I'm going to take the bushings out of the upper control arms. See if I can remember how this goes together. I think it goes like that. Then you tighten these together, and then this will push that out. You might have to put. Let's see. Actually, there's like a spacer in here. I think it needs to go on this side because this is just going to push it flush. I need it to be able to push it out. This guy. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Cool. Alright, let me grab some WD-40 for that real quick. Alright, so I'm going to spray the bushing here. This will help it slide out easier. Voila. And that's that. Alright, so when I took these out, the old ones out of here, it was dark. So hopefully you guys were able to make it out in the video. But if not, this should give you an idea. Going back in will give you an idea of how it was coming apart, because it's basically the same thing, just the other direction. So I'm going to put some grease on there so it can slide pretty easily. And I got my handy dandy tool here, which has been sitting in the sun so it's nice and hot. Whew. I don't think we used that sleeve to go in. Put this in. So this is basically creating a cavity that this could press into. And then this all thread goes through everything to pull it together. Put this on there. Like so. Just start tightening it in. And we'll do time-lapse mode for you. So this tool is invaluable if you're doing front suspension stuff, especially if you're going to be doing it often. You know, I bought this kit a long time ago and it comes with a whole bunch of tools. you know, for taking out the torsion bar, changing the upper bushings. It came with one socket. Mopar muscle cars have 2 socket sizes for the upper ball joint. B bodies, E bodies, and later A bodies had the bigger socket. Early A bodies, so from 72 and earlier, has a smaller ball joint socket. So if you order the kit, you have to decide which one you want, depending on the car you got. You know, it's obviously worth, if you're gonna do A bodies, you pretty much need to do both if you're going across both generations there. I can't remember where I got it from. I want to say US Tool makes them too, but I probably got it on eBay. I'll see if I can find it, and if I can, you know, I'll put something on the video here that says where I got it from. All right, so you saw it go together. That's how it goes together. I'm gonna just show you, I'm not gonna actually take it out, but I'm gonna show you how to set it up to take it out in case you didn't see it in the video that I did when it was kind of dark. So basically, you're gonna flip it around. So you saw we had it in here, we tightened it up, this pushes in. There's a cavity here to kind of help, you know, allows the bushing to go into. Taking it out, you gotta do the opposite. So you flip it around. Now the cavity is on this side so that the bushing can fall into. And then you're gonna utilize this guy. Press, set it there. Put these guys on there so they spin easy, like so. And then you just tighten against each other. So you can see what that'll do. This sleeve is basically gonna push that bushing into this chamber, and then boom, falls out. So super easy. Now if you didn't have any of this stuff, yeah, I'm sure you could probably just press them out and then hammer it the rest of the way, or press it in. I think that's how I used to do it before I bought this tool. So, but this is definitely worth its weight in gold. I would definitely buy the kit again if I didn't have it. So, to let you know. All right, so I'm gonna put the rest of the bushings in here. We'll do it under time lapse, so I don't have to, you know, I don't have to bore you guys. Ta-da! And by the way, huge thanks to Chris Field. He had this energy suspension front kit laying around. It's not the prettiest of colors. I mean, I would prefer black. I think most people would. But, you know, probably why nobody wanted these, because of the color. But he let me have them. And, well, as you can probably tell, I've been dumping a lot of money into this car, and I'm about tapped. Which, I don't know about this video or one of these videos coming soon. I'm gonna probably walk through all the expenses that I've put into this car, just like a rough preview. I think I've dumped about 10 grand into this car to get it to about where it is right now. And that was, you know, some stuff I spent a ton of money to get, like the hood, and then some things like this front kit I got dirt cheap. So, you know, I've been trying to save money wherever I can for those things where it's like you just don't really want to go cheap on, like the headers, the torque converter, the hood, those, and of course the engine. But you know, I got the engine for a pretty good deal too, so considering how well it runs and everything, I couldn't build it for that cheap. But anyway, get into all that later. All right, let's get the other A-arm on. We'll get the A-arms into the car, and then we'll put the ball joints in. Again, just like when you're pulling these out, make sure you take the upper ball joints out while the control arms are still in the car. It is by far the best vise for holding the control arm, because you try to put these in a vise and you look at these shapes. You don't have any squared off shapes to grab into a vise. You end up putting teeth marks into your control arm and stuff. This way it's bolted in the car. You get the big socket on there, take it out, or in this case we're going to be going back in. Way easier. So, all right, moving on. All right, so we're gonna put the control arms back in, and if you're wondering, well, what if I get them mixed up? I don't remember which side this one goes on. Was it this one? Was it this one? Easy to figure out. You got a bump stop here. It's on the front side, and you have a pad right here inside of the control arm. That's what hits the bump stop. So we know that this arm belongs to the passenger side. This is the driver's side. I'm gonna put it in. The bump stop doesn't come anywhere close to that. So we know that's the driver's side. All right. All right, I'm gonna attempt to try to explain how this works. So there are pockets on each side of this shock tower, on the outside and on these inside pieces that basically cup these big eccentric washers. All right, so these washers are sitting inside of there. That's cupped to the body, basically the frame. It's a unibody. When you turn on this screw, you know, this one's just tightening and loosening to put it together. When you turn on this screw, if you pull it, if you're turning it this way, you know, turning it this way, that's gonna push on those pockets like that, and that's gonna bring the control arm out. And then the same thing happens up there. So it's basically from this side and this side on both sides, it pushes the control arm out or pushes it in. Now, what these adjustments do is basically you could push that one that direction and push this one in this direction, and that would move the ball joint forward, or you can go in the opposite direction, that would move the ball joint backward. That would affect your caster, okay? Now, it also affects camber, basically the wheel leaning in or out. So if you pulled both of them out together, that would move the ball joint out this way. That would lean your tire out like this. That'd give you positive caster. And if you pushed those in, the control arm would go in, ball joint would go that way, your tire would lean inward, that would be negative caster. So camber and caster is all done through the upper control arm through those two adjustments. It's kind of neat how it all works. Just remember, I did a video on this, I think on the Duster, and doing it by hand versus I mean, it's great if you can do it on a rack. If you have an old school guy that does alignment, they know what they're doing. But these new guys, younger guys, they don't have any experience with these cars, and these cars are just, they're kind of sloppy compared to newer cars, and it takes a lot of finesse. So the number one thing they screw up is they pull the weight off the car. They make all these adjustments, and then they go, oh, there you go, it's dialed in. But you need to push the car down. Like, you'll drive it around the block and it's all screwed up because then all the weight starts to settle in. So if you're trying to adjust your camber and caster and doing this on your own, just realize that you might have camber, say it's dialed in perfectly, and you just need a little more or a little less caster. So you try to adjust the ball joint forward or back, because it takes both adjustments. It's not like one is dedicated to one and the other's dedicated to the other. They both affect each other. So you make an adjustment, it's going to impact the other one more than likely. So it kind of takes a back and forth to get it right. Anyway, I'm going to leave those in there. I have a front clip off a 69 Charger with these pockets, so I'm going to show you and give you a little bit of a close-up of that real quick, and then I'm going to do the other side. This is my 69 Charger front clip. It's basically what I use for a run stand. Alright, here is what I'm talking about. See these little ledges right here? Basically, this goes through here, and let me see if I can get a close-up. There you go. So when you make this adjustment, if I'm going to pull it out, this bolt basically walked this way. Let's see if I can get this way better. So that's pushing the control arm out on this side. And if I go this way, it's going to push it in. And it's got the same thing over here. So the washer on the other end is basically pushing against those little ledges. Those ledges, just like that. It's on both sides, basically. I'll show you from the top. See that? Okay. So, same thing here on the front. This guy's sitting in here. The bushing is going to be tight on this, on the control arm. So, I turn this. It's going to pull the control arm out, go the other way. There's crud or something in there. Anyway, it's going to pull the control arm and control arm out. So that's how it works. I don't know if that was helpful or more confusing. Just kind of give you an idea on the control arm, because those are round holes versus in the body are slotted holes. This basically is going to go in and out. This side's going to go in and out. So you can move the ball joint. Hold on. Move the ball joint like that, or you can move the control arm like that, moving the ball joint forward for more caster, the other way, less caster, and then out for more positive camber, negative camber. Hope that helped. If not, if I confused you, ignore this whole portion. Something I thought I'd mention before I put all this together. So in case you're wondering, how do these eccentrics stay positioned on the bolt so they're not just spinning? These bolts, well, this side is all like, I guess it's welded together. On this side, there's a flat, and the washer's got a flat, so that locks it in, so that when you're turning this, it's pushing the control arm in and out. Alright, got the upper ball joint. Get these boots off. Putting some grease on there just to make it a little bit easier. This is the big socket, also comes with that kit. Alright, this thing is getting tight. Maybe it needs a little more grease, I don't know. But I went and grabbed this pipe, my leverage. Now, what would Duddy's Garage call this? The Pipeinator? Intimidator? Leveraginator? Assassinator? Leverage violence? Violence wrench. I don't know, something like that. Well, you gotta watch some of his videos to figure out what kind of terminology he uses his tooling. Or I should say what he uses for the Dodge Whisperer's tooling. He's usually borrowing his tools and breaking them. Hopefully the Dodge Whisperer doesn't follow this channel. Anyways, while you're checking out Duddy's adventure, he recently went to a car show and did a pretty bang-up job of describing all the cool cars that were there. You got to check that out. If I remember, I'll try to put it in the link of this video, but I have a tendency to forget that kind of stuff, so don't hold it against me. Duddy was also telling me about how he his favorite car is the 68-69 Dodge Charger, which kind of surprised me because I only see him driving trucks. But at any rate, I dug up some videos of some 68, 69, or not videos, pictures of some Chargers that I think he might actually like. I'll throw them in here while you're watching me tighten or install this upper ball joint, so for your viewing entertainment pleasure. Alright, if you're wondering how far in do I have to screw these, all the way. Bring it all the way down to where it's just touching the top lip of the threaded area. It's all the way in. Get a wrench for this. Alright, you're starting to get why you need to use the car to hold the upper control arm in. I don't know if that last little clip there gave you an idea of how much strength it takes to screw these freaking upper ball joints in, but it is not for the meek. So, I weigh about 250, and it's taken about everything I got to get this thing to screw in. Alright, I'm not gonna lie guys, that was tough. That thing was hard to freaking turn. I actually had to stop, take a break, and walk away. Get some rest. Come back a little more charged. If you're not a big strong guy to tighten that, I think you can buy these upper A-arms fully loaded with a ball joint in them and bushings in them, ready to go. They're not cheap, but they are available. So if you don't have the girth to tighten these, or have a friend that can help you tighten them, getting those ball joints in, you might want to consider just buying them loaded. Cool. Just throwing this stuff on here so I don't lose it. Okay. That's the upper A-arms.